Tibet, the roof of the world, a high-altitude desert, a land of high mountains, deep gorges, and mighty river valleys, a country with extreme cold, high wind, rare flora, exotic fauna, and amazing people. In central Tibet, in the Lhasa River Valley. Lhasa is the capital of Tibet. It is a modern city at the height of 3,600 meters. A city with a strong cultural heritage at its heart. Under a strictly watchful eye. Here, you can observe a colorful and vibrant traditional Tibetan life. We visited Lhasa to take part in a high-altitude cycling expedition. Our team members were Evert van Baal and Rob Stark from the Netherlands and I, Subhamoy Ghosh, from India. We spent 3 days acclimatizing in this high-altitude environment. During this time, we visited the Potala Palace, the palace of the Dalai Lama. The 14th Dalai Lama was coronated here as a child in 1940. During the Chinese invasion, he left this palace and escaped to India in 1959. This is the throne of the Dalai Lama. The Potala Palace has stupas containing the mortal remains of earlier Dalai Lamas, which are made of solid gold and precious stones. A grand architectural wonder of Tibetan architecture. Now it is a museum, and some parts of it are open for tourists. We also visited Jokhang Temple. It is the most sacred temple of Tibetan Buddhism. Pilgrims from every corner of Tibet visit this temple. Our cycling expedition started from Lhasa on 14th May 2019. A 1,000 kilometers journey from Lhasa to Kathmandu, traversing the formidable Tibetan plateau. The average elevation of the route was 4,500 meters, along the highest range of the Himalayas. Our journey started on the Lhasa-Kathmandu Friendship Highway, along the Lhasa River. We stopped at Chusul for lunch break. We crossed the Yalung Tsangpo River, which is known as Brahmaputra in India. After cycling 85 kilometers, we established our first camp at the Yalung Tsangpo Valley, below Kampala Pass. Next day, early morning, we started our journey towards Kampala. Beside the road, some Tibetan Mastiff dogs were displayed by their proud owners for tourist entertainment. From the top of the Kampala Pass, we could get a gorgeous view of the Yamdrook Lake on the other side of the pass. Yamdrook Lake is one of the largest sacred lakes in Tibet. It is 72 kilometers long, freshwater lake. After traveling 80 kilometers, we established our camp beside the Yamdrook near Gyangtse town, amid strong wind and snow. For centuries, this ground was used by trading caravans as campsites on their way to Lhasa. Next day, we traveled to Karola. While descending, we crossed the Karola glacier. Below the glacier, there was a memorial stupa commemorating the Anglo-Tibetan War. In 1904, the British Army invaded Tibet and made a camp below the Karola glacier. In a fierce battle, they defeated the Tibetan army. After that, they marched to Lhasa and forced the Tibetan government to sign a trade deal on their terms. Nojin Gangsang Peak was in the background. We established the camp near Ralong village after cycling 65 kilometers. Early morning, we started our journey towards the Simila Pass. Reached the top of Simila. On the other side of the Simila, we could see the beautiful Manla reservoir. During our journey, we sometimes encountered a flat tire. We passed by a massive solar power generation system in this remote area. We stopped for lunch beside the road. After traveling 65 kilometers, we reached Gyangtse. Gyangtse was an ancient trade hub with India. After crossing Nathula Pass, Indian traders would trade rice, spices and textiles with local wool, carpet and salt. At the center of the city is the fort named Gyangtse Dzong. This 14th century fort guarded the Gyangtse town and fertile Nyangchu Valley. Gyangtse town is situated in the fertile Nyangchu River Valley. Palko Chode Monastery is a famous temple of Tibetan Buddhism, built in the 14th century. During the Chinese Cultural Revolution, it was destroyed. Recently, it has been restored. Kumbum Stupa is one of the largest stupas in Tibet. Renovation of the structure was underway. On the way to Shigatse, we traveled through the fertile Gyangtse Valley. We reached Shigatse after traveling 95 kilometers. Shigatse is situated at the confluence of the Yalung and the Gyangtse River. Shigatse is the second largest city in Tibet. In the market, shops were selling colorful prayer flags. The 17th century fort, named Shigatse Zong, was destroyed during the Chinese Cultural Revolution. It has been rebuilt recently. Tashilhunpo Monastery is an important monastery founded by the first Dalai Lama during the 15th century. It is the traditional seat of Panchen Lamas. I joined with the devotees who were performing Kora around Tashilhunpo Monastery. We left Shigatse in the morning. After traveling 100 kilometers, we established the camp on the roadside. The next day, we crossed the Tsola Pass. We traveled through the fertile valley of Lhasa County. After traveling 65 kilometers, we established our camp on the roadside. The next day, we entered the Mount Komolungma National Nature Reserve. Local people were busy harvesting. We traveled through a beautiful river valley on the way to Shagar. After cycling 75 kilometers, we reached Shagar and stayed in this hotel. We left Friendship Highway and entered the Everest region through this checkpoint. Climbing Pangla through 41 switchback bends was one of the toughest cycling experiences. We climbed 1,000 meters in height from the base to the top of the pass. Majestic view at the top of Pangla. We climbed down 1,100 meters to the other side of the pass through 64 bends. This is a historical road. 100 years ago, the British Everest exploration team traveled by this road. We covered 85 kilometers before establishing the camp at the Shagar River Valley. The next day, early morning, we started for the Everest Base Camp. The Chinese government recently built a beautiful concrete road to the Everest Base Camp. On the way to Rongbuk Monastery, we could see Gyachungkang and Cho Oyu peaks in front of us. After a certain turn, suddenly Mount Everest appeared in front of us. It was magical. After traveling 35 kilometers, we established the camp beside Rongbuk Monastery. At the base of Mount Everest, Rongbuk Monastery is considered the highest altitude monastery. It is a famous pilgrimage center for Sherpa people residing in the Khumbu region of Nepal. Slowly, the day ended with a beautiful sunset on Everest. The next day started with a magnificent view of Mount Everest. Due to the strong chill wind, it was difficult to stand outside the tent. The first British Everest exploration team took this photo in 1921. It was a thrilling experience to stand in the same place after 100 years. This photo was also taken by the first Everest exploration team in 1921. Here, you can notice the white Rongbuk Glacier and the snow-covered Everest. After 100 years, the Rongbuk Glacier has almost vanished and Everest lost its snow cover. A sad reality. In the afternoon, we left Rongbuk Monastery. Cycling over a bumpy gravel road at an altitude of 5,000 meters was very challenging. We reached Zimuk village, situated at the top of the hill in a barren land. This is one of the highest altitude villages in the world, with few houses. It is difficult to imagine how people are living in this extreme environment. We established the camp below the village after traveling 15 kilometers in the toughest terrain. It was the end of another exciting day. The next day, our journey continued through a bumpy gravel road in a barren land. We crossed the Manla Pass and came down to the Ketrakchu River Valley. It was very difficult to paddle through the bumpy road on the riverbed at this high altitude. This was the route to go to the Cho Oyu base camp. Mount Cho Oyu seen from Gangajen. We established the camp beside the Friendship Highway after an exhausting cycling of 70 kilometers. It was a great experience to cycle along the highest mountain range in the world. Makalu Everest and Cho Oyu were in the background. It was very difficult to cycle against a strong headwind in this high altitude. We left Friendship Highway and diverted to 214 County Road. After 70 kilometers of cycling, we established the camp in the riverbed. We started early morning towards Paiku Lake. We were passing by a grand 8,000-meter peak named Mount Shisha Pangma. Nepali people call this peak Gozaithan, which means the abode of God. The famous comic book named Tintin in Tibet was written in the background of this area. Tintin's friend, Chang's plane, was crashed at the base of Kosathan Peak. Later, Tintin rescued him from a cave of a Yeti. By remembering that childhood story, I was very excited to travel through this region. Road continues along the highest edge of the Himalaya. Extreme wind made cycling very difficult. We planned to climb Kongtang Lamu Pass to cross the highest Himalayan range. After cycling 70 kilometers, we established the camp below Kongtang Lamu Pass. The next day, we started our journey towards Kongtang Lamu Pass. This pass is the gap in the highest Himalayan range. Through this pass, the road from the Tibetan plateau crosses to the southern side of the Himalaya into Gyangtse Valley. From here, we climb down 2,700 meters, a downhill journey of over 100 kilometers inside the Gyangtse Valley. The Tibetan plateau was on the other side of the Himalayan range. Our road passed through the Gyangtse River Valley. It was the oldest trade route between Tibet, Nepal, and India. There was an old Buddhist stupa on the roadside. 1,000 years ago, Buddhism entered Tibet from India through this road. In the year 1042, a Bengali Buddhist scholar, Atisa Dipankar, traveled by this road and came to Tibet by the invitation of a Tibetan king to spread Buddhism. For hundreds of years, Tibetan Buddhist scholars traveled by this road to India to study at Nalanda University. As we climbed down, the landscape changed into green forests. The road was along the beautiful Gyangtse River. After traveling 110 kilometers, we reached Gyangtse town and stayed in a hotel. The next day, we traveled towards the border checkpost along the Gyangtse River, a tributary of the Trishuli River. We traveled 20 kilometers to reach the China-Nepal International Border Post. We crossed the international border into Nepal, and our adventurous journey in Tibet ended in Kathmandu. Inspired by this unforgettable travel experience, I have written a book on Tibet that explores its history, religion, culture, and my personal observations of modern-day Tibetan life. The book was published in 2024 with the blessings of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. This book, named Traversing Tibet, is available worldwide at Amazon, as printed book and also as an e-book.